Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to talk about possible campaign scenarios. We did do a video on this before. One of the campaigns we talked about was Armageddon, but I want to switch up a little bit. I want to go somewhere else. I actually want to talk about the Dark Angels and the Fallen, because I think there's a lot of potential to do a campaign around that. Maybe we can call it War of the Angels. I don't know, something cool and awesome along those lines. So let's jump in and let's have a little chat. So for those of you who are not aware, we've already had one big campaign of 8th edition. Actually, we've had two, because the whole Mortarian, Ultramar and stuff was one, and then of course we've had the Vigilus stuff, but the Ultramar one never had books or anything. But the Vigilus stuff had books where it introduced chapters with new rules, new stratagems, all that kind of stuff, and Abaddon turned up. I'm not going to spoil all, but go and read it. It came to basically a standstill. That is probably a bit of a spoiler, but hey, they're basically doing campaigns, and I'm just thinking, where can they go next? Where is the next campaign? Now, we previously talked about Armageddon. I personally think Armageddon would be a great place to go, because you have the potential of Steel Legion, Black Templars, Salamanders, of course Orcs or new Orc models, all that kind of awesome stuff, and maybe a couple of Primarchs, you know. But if it's not Armageddon, which would be the next best scenario for them to visit? Now, I'm sure people are going to have their own views on this, but for me personally, I think it'd be really, really cool if they explored the Dark Angel versus the Fallen, because that is actually a big piece of the narrative story now in 8th edition. And what I mean by that is, now, it's always been there between, you know, the Dark Angels and the Fallen, hunting each other, you know, keeping the secrets and stuff. Yeah, that's always been a main part of the story. But what's happened since 8th edition happened, when the Great Rift happened, the Rock was basically boarded by demons, and in the midst of, like, you know, purging the demons and stuff like that, Luthor was removed from his cell. Now, we don't know if Luthor escaped on his own doing. We don't know if a demon took Luthor. We don't know. All we know is that Luthor is no longer on the Rock, and he's out now in the galaxy doing whatever he's doing. Now, there's an interesting excerpt in the Dark Angels Codex. I think it's like in, you know, like all the timelines where he goes through it all, like in a brief summary. I think it's the last bit in that brief summary where it states that there is a legion size of Fallen gathering in the north of the Imperium. Now, why is the north so significant to it? Because the north is basically shunned away from the astronomical light, because the Great Rift has split the galaxy in half. The north is like the Wild West now. It's like no man's land. If you go there, you know, it's at your own risk. If you go there, you may not ever come back into the Imperium that we know in the south and stuff, because the astronomical, like I stated, is no longer reachable in those kind of areas. So apparently the Fallen are growing in strength there, and they're gathering a sizable force, and they are gathering a sizable force under a mysterious figure. Now, it doesn't allude to that it's Luthor at all, but I think we can all put it together, like, you know, 1 + 1 = 2. If this is like mysterious figure gathering all the Fallen to him, we can more or less guarantee that it's Luthor, because Luthor's not on the Rock, and this mysterious figure who could unite the Fallen can only be Luthor, because he's the one who made basically the Fallen when he got sent back to Caliban and stuff like that. So the story there now indicates that, of course, if they're gathering, and that means they're going to be planning on something, some kind of attack, some kind of engagement of sorts, the Fallen will not be going down without a fight. Of course, the main big thing about this is that once the Dark Angels learn about it, they already may know about it, but it's not been put in the lore or anything. But once the Dark Angels find out, there's only one thing they can do, and that is go there and fight them. And like I stated, going to the north is very, very tricky. And of course, I don't think it's just going to be the Dark Angels as well. The Dark Angels will have to unite their chapter, like all the successor chapters, to go and hunt for these Fallen, because, as I stated, the Fallen are gathering in legion-sized strength. So that's more than 1,000 Marines. The Dark Angels can't possibly go against, you know, more than, you know, a couple of thousand if they've only got 1,000 guys. So it's basically, we have to get all of our brothers from our gene line, and we have to go and hunt these characters. We have to go and hunt them. We have to go and find them, make sure no one else learns about them. But I think in the narrative story campaign, I think it'd be really, really fun if someone else found out about the Dark Angels. Sorry, someone else found about the Fallen Dark Angels before the Dark Angels actually got to them. And I think that person could be Dante and the Blood Angels. Now, the reason I say this is because Dante is basically Lord Commander of the North. Gilman made him like the head honcho north of the Great Rift. Whatever happens north of the Great Rift, Dante basically has command over. So if this massive Dark Angel fleet suddenly, teleports in from somewhere and goes, hey, how are you all doing? Dante's not going to turn a blind eye. He's going to be like, what's going on here? So it'd be really, really cool if Dante learned about the Fallen and then his reaction to that, and maybe the reaction of the Dark Angels, knowing that Dante now knows about the Fallen Dark Angels. Because one thing that the Dark Angels do when people learn about the Fallen is that they get rid of them. There was a certain incident, the name actually escapes me now, where the Black Templars had a Fallen on their ship. I don't think they knew it was a Fallen at the time. The Dark Angel said, "Hey, give him to us." I think they actually opened fire on him, just to like give him the guy right now. And the Black Templars ended up giving the Dark Angels over. The Black Templars ended up giving the Fallen over to the Dark Angels, and all record of the ship was lost. Then no one ever heard of it at all after that incident. So it's alluded to that the Dark Angels opened fire and killed that Black Templar ship just to keep the secret of the Fallen. So on that note, as I just stated, it'd be really, really fun to see what they would do if Dante or any other chapters of that would actually learn of it. I'm sure they wouldn't go like an all-out war with the Blood Angels. If anything, I think Dante would be like, it's okay, it's all right, heresy happened, but you are loyal, you're loyal to the Emperor, I understand that this is your secret. I actually think Dante would keep the secret. I don't think he would even tell Guilliman if it was an oath-bound secret. I think he'd keep it among him and whoever, in his top hierarchy, whoever learnt about it. Now, apart from the narrative side and the stories and stuff like that, what is the potential for models? Well, of course, the potential for models are a couple of things. Now, we've talked about Primaris characters, and we've talked about HQs before. We've talked about old HQs, which are so outdated that they need updating. And I personally think one of the reasons why they haven't been updated, because GW is waiting for was waiting for the Primaris treatment so they could update them to Primaris, as we've seen with Calgar, as we've seen with other characters as well. Uriel Ventress is basically becoming a Primaris Marine, for those of you who don't know as well. So you got all these like big characters coming over to the Primaris side. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Azrael got the Primaris treatment. His model is very, very old. He's an amazing character. He's got so much backstory and stuff like that. Amazing swordsman. But again, his model is lacking. So I'm wondering, with these narrative campaigns, is this the time where they start introducing these characters in Primaris format? Because we do now know that you can be upgraded. Of course, you can die when you are becoming an upgrade to a Primaris Marine, but at the end of the day, when you're like Azrael, you got to have one of the main things, which is plot armor on your side, so you're not going to be just dying on a table and stuff like that. It'd actually be really funny if he did die on a table. It'd be really like a really sad end to his character, but it's not going to happen. So I personally think that when it comes to new models and HQs and stuff like that, I think we'll start seeing more of these Primaris HQs, because that's one of the things that Primaris lack at the moment, is just actual characters. They just have like 9 lieutenants. That's all we have. We don't really have anyone that really stands out on our line as like a badass character. When it comes to vehicles and stuff like that, this is where you can potentially introduce the Primaris jet bikes as well. Don't forget, the Raven Guard are all about bikers and stuff like that. They do have like an old kind of tech bike, but I think that's like one of the last ones in the galaxy. But I think it'd be really, really cool if like Call gave these guys like some of the first designs of the new Primaris jet bike, which has been hinted at, by the way. The rumors are floating around about it. Of course, nothing is solid at all. It's just more or less rumors at the moment. But I think it'd be really, really awesome if they introduce some new models and it's like, okay, here's like the Primaris Raven Guard, all in there like jumped up, dark, like black color Primaris jet bike, zooming, hunting for the Fallen and stuff like that. I think that'd be a massive selling point, not only for like the Dark Angels and stuff, but I think for the actual Primaris range as well. And this is what they tend to do. They tend to introduce a bulk of new models every time they do a narrative campaign, like we had with the Vanguard stuff. That was the big release around that time. We had all the Chaos stuff as well. Remember, Chaos got like a complete redesign. They got the Lord Discordant or something like that. That was like all these brand new models and stuff. So I definitely wouldn't put it past GW to start introducing some pimpish awesome models. I also think they could do one of two things. They could either redesign the Fallen to make them more cool, because the Fallen on the GW website now, actually, I think they're like made to order now or something, or it's last chance to buy it. Did they even do them anymore? I'll have to check after I do the video, but they're really old models. When you put them next to the new stuff, it just looks out of place. So they definitely need upgrading. Now they can either, like I said, just do a complete redesign, new characters, new poses and stuff like that, or they could probably do an upgrade set for the Chaos Space Marines that we have out now. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of people that may disagree in the second part, because they say, oh, it's those guys that are loyal, they're not corrupted by chaos, they should have chaos symbols on them and stuff like that. There is Dark Angel people out there that are that deluded. But, on that note, I would probably prefer an upgrade kit over new models. Actually, I'm not too sure, because new models are always awesome, aren't they, and stuff like that. And if you get all the robes on them properly and do all the robes cool, and of course the main thing that you could get out of this is a Luthor model, like a Luthor HQ model as well for the Fallen. How about that? If you're if you're really into playing the Fallen and stuff like that, and you have Luthor leading your army, it'd be really, really interesting to see their take on him, because of course Luthor is just a man in like modified. He's not like a styes or anything. He's got like modified power armor. Of course, he had like some kind of chaosy power in him and stuff like that. I'm wondering if that will still be the case with him, or is he just like back to being a man in like some power suit armor? So it'd be cool to see like how they did his character and stuff like that, and how it would look on the tabletop. But I'm gonna put this in, because I have to put this in. If Luthor did come back and Luthor was leading the Fallen army, then I think that would be a big introduction to bring back the next Primarch. I know I'm doing it, forgive me, because if Luthor come back, then the only person I personally think that can stand up to him, because if Luthor come back with like all his power and stuff like that, Azrael couldn't stand up to him. So I think the only person that could stand up to him, that stood up to him before, is the Lion. So I think this is what maybe the Watchers have been waiting for, keeping the Lion like asleep, let's say. I have no idea what's going on with the Lion, but maybe they have like the technology or the power to awake the Lion in this time of need, that the Fallen have returned, led by Luthor, and it's up to the Lion to go on the hunt, because that's what the Lion is. He hunts. He likes to hunt things, and to go and search for Luthor and maybe finish the job, leading a brand new force of Primaris warriors and stuff. I know we discussed like what a couple of weeks ago, like what his reaction would be to the Primaris, but just having a new Lionel Johnson model come back in 40k and seeing everything what's happened to the Imperium, adding that to the narrative storyline of the Fallen and Luthor leading the Fallen, it'd be completely incredible, and I would be down always to see what would happen. Of course, the Lion is such an amazing character as well. A lot of people don't get him, but I think he's really, really cool. I just love how antisocial he is, and just how he does things his own way. And if you don't like it, then you gotta lose your head. It's as simple as that. Alright, Chaperonios, I'm gonna leave it there. That's enough rambling for one day's video. Tell me what you think. What would you like for the next campaign? I know we've discussed Armageddon, but let's leave Armageddon out of it. Would you like the war? I'm just calling it the War of the Angels, because Dark Angels, Fallen, stuff like that. Fallen, Dark Angels, just War of the Angels. Or would you like something else? Maybe something to do with Tau, Necrons, Eldar. Maybe nothing to do with the Imperium at all. Maybe you just want it like two Xenos races fighting each other. Let me know in the comment section below, and we can have a nice little chat about it down there as always. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. See you now, and bye-bye.